Welcome to episode 3 of Common Sense Pod, where we're documenting our journey as two first-generation Nigerian-American millennials trying to figure it out financially, and hopefully we can all learn a thing or two as we embark on this journey and share our experiences. I'm your host, Dami, and here's my co-host, Umar. What do you do, Brody?
Another day, another dollar. Thank God we're doing well. Life is going good. Nothing too crazy. Work is going well. How about yourself?
Life is amazing. It is what it should be. We've been
Facts,
chilling.
facts, facts.
Yeah, that was from my hit single. That was just one of the bars from my hit single. I'm a
Oh my
podcaster,
God.
rapper, I do a little bit of everything. But it is. Life's been good. Been chilling, just preparing for our party, getting ready to show you guys a great time this coming weekend. Shout out to everybody that attends our party that's watching this video right now. Thank you for showing up.
No, nah, kudos to y'all because I know it takes a lot of effort trying to put a party together. So good job to y'all. Hopefully that goes well, and we're looking forward to it for sure.
Yeah,
But I
yeah.
guess we're officially podcasters now.
Episode 3 out
Episode
now.
3. I feel like the first 2 episodes they were good.
The first 2 were definitely a little difficult, but it's getting easier to record and edit and put the videos out, and we're getting like a cadence now. So like it's over now. Like once we get that rhythm going, it's done.
No, yeah, I definitely feel like we have a good rhythm going for sure. So, when we put this episode out there, look forward to the episode 4, 5, and so forth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait till we get to like episode 100 and we can start talking spicy without worrying about YouTube.
Hey, that's him. I'm gonna still be corporate, you know.
Yeah, when we get to episode 100, I can be my true self.
All right, what we got for the people today?
Yeah. So today we're here talking major purchases in your 20s or big purchases in your 20s. What do you consider a big purchase?
Honestly, I feel like this is relative to people because obviously people have different spending power. They're different financially, but just to kind of give it a holistic view, I think anything that I'll say personally, anything that you can't afford to buy twice is a big purchase. Like if you have to use multiple paychecks to pay things off, if you have to go into your savings to kind of pay things off, that is a big purchase. How about yourself? What would you consider a big purchase?
I guess I have 2 answers. So my politically correct answer, I'd say anything that is more than half of one of my paychecks is a big purchase. So I get paid twice in a month. Another way of saying that is if I gotta pay more than 25% of my monthly income on something, it's a big purchase. But if I'm being my real self, the real Dami I know that came up from being broke, anything over $100 is too much for me. I ain't gonna
Oh
lie.
my goodness. Let's be for real. Now he just capping on here. He just capping to pod. He's just podding
That's
right
what you
now.
that's what you're supposed to do on podcast. You're supposed to cap.
I was just podding right now. But I mean, yeah, I feel like those like we said, like it's really relative. Like we both gave like different answers. Like he said 20% of his monthly paycheck. I said like if I can't buy it twice, that's a big purchase to me. So honestly, it's really just relative to each person, but understanding like your spending power and how much you can afford to spend on something, that's kind of
Yeah.
what we want to talk about today. So
Yeah.
why is it important for us to address this topic of the big purchases that you make in your 20s?
It's important to acknowledge this topic and to understand it because the main thing we're talking about on this channel is financial freedom and building long-term wealth. And in order to be able to do that, you have to let compounding play its role. And compounding can only play its role over a long period of time. Compounding requires time for it to work in full effect. So if you're able to start building a base financially at a young age, and not give in to making these major purchases, it'll set you up for your life to progress in a way better way than if you weren't doing this. Like avoiding some of these major purchases, not saying that these purchases are bad, but avoiding them initially, it can set you up to go so much further in life.
Yeah. I mean, that's very true because like you basically mentioned building that foundation early on. Like if you start investing earlier or if you start making smart financial decisions earlier, you do give yourself that compounding effect for the long term. So, and that goes a long term in giving you that financial freedom. I think another reason why this topic is important is that it also teaches us in the society that we live in the discipline between balancing our needs versus our wants. I think that's something a lot of people struggle with today, understanding what exactly is a need for them and what exactly is a want. Because most times people buy things just because they want it, not because they necessarily need it. A common example of this is the car analogy. So, for example, obviously all of us need cars, but
You don't need the
it's
Lambo.
exactly, you don't need the BMW, you don't need the Mercedes, you don't need the luxury car. It's just
Yeah.
because we want it, and that's really where that need that discipline of a want versus a need comes into play. Once we can kind of identify those scenarios where that comes into place, I feel like that sets you up for the long term, because this financial freedom game, it's a long term. It comes with sacrifices, and that's really what people have to realize. You're not going to have the things that you want all the time. You're going to have to sacrifice at some point in time. And that's where settling for your need at that particular time helps you get your want later on in life. And that's kind of why it's important where you make those smart financial decisions in your 20s, because you're setting yourself up, like you mentioned, building that foundation for financial freedom later on in life.
Yeah. If you don't sacrifice for the things you want will end up being the sacrifice. And that's a quote that guides me in life. Little
That's a good one.
context. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, for example, or let's say I want to be healthy. So I want to start eating healthier. I want to live a healthier life. Well, you need to sacrifice for that. So I need to stop eating fast food. I need to eat more fruits. If
Yep.
I
Yep.
don't sacrifice for the healthy body that I want, or if I don't sacrifice for the healthy lifestyle, then the healthy lifestyle will end up being the sacrifice because I will never get it.
Your words have never been spoken.
You know, I told you, man, I'm a rapper on the side, so I just be like, sometimes I just got bars. Can't help it. So, what would you say is the main reason why people make big purchases?
Honestly, I feel like a reason why people make big purchases, especially the ones that they probably shouldn't be making at that point in time, is really social media and just trying to show off to other people. I think this is something that we're dealing with in society, because all big purchases have been glamorified, where if you're not showing that you're driving a nice car, you have a nice bag, you have nice shoes, nice clothes, you're kind of not seen in the light that you want to be seen. And just because you want to have a certain appearance, you make these purchases that are ill-advised or shouldn't be things that you're doing at that time, because you're also need to consider the opportunity cost of you doing those things while you can be doing other things on the side, like investing or using your money in ways that should be used properly. And I think that's a big issue that we have to deal with. And that's where the discipline of understanding what your needs are versus your wants come into play. What about you? What do you think? Why do you think people make purchases that they shouldn't be making?
I mean, I think you said it well enough. It's the age and the era that we live in. But if I
Yeah,
had to add anything else, I'd just say people don't know any better. Like, you think you can afford something, and you think, all right, let me clarify that. You think you have the money for something, so you think you can afford it. Just because you have the money for it doesn't mean you can afford it. And it's
that's
something
very
that
true. Yep.
you probably will never understand this until you're in this situation and you buy something that's a little bit more expensive than what you thought it was. Like, when you buy a nice car, there's a lot of things that come with it. Your insurance is going to be up. The gas is probably going to be a little bit higher if it's a foreign.
Yeah,
The maintenance on the car is going to be more. You're going to have to valet the car when you go out because you don't want nothing to happen to it. Any little thing that happens, like dings, scratches, accidents, on that stuff, is going to be that much more expensive to, you're going to have to pay more for those things, and you don't realize it when you're buying it. So I say, it's besides the social media and the internet aspect of it, it's just people not knowing that they really can't afford these items.
no, yeah, that's 100%. And another thing is like the whole thing about soft life nowadays. People say they want a soft life, they want a soft life, but in reality, life is hard. Like all the things, like nothing really comes easy in life. You have to work for it. You have to sacrifice.
Mhm.
People give this false pretense that life comes easy to you, and that's really just on social media. That's why that has a negative effect on people just thinking they can buy things they really can't afford in real life.
It's really a question of whether you want to live a soft life now and it will be very difficult for you for in the future,
True,
or do you
true,
want to
true.
manage your life? Maybe, let's not say hard, maybe it's a medium life now and you have a very nice life in the future.
That's true. I mean, that's the whole point. Like that sacrifice should be made early on. That's what we're trying to say. That sacrifice should be made in your 20s so you can have that soft life later in your life. But it seems like on social media, everyone in their 20s is living their soft life now, which honestly shouldn't be the reality of it.
If we
But
check your social media, we might think you're living a soft life.
But exactly, that's the whole point where there's a
You already get the
balance.
title.
Exactly. There's a
Yeah,
balance of, okay, living soft life, but also doing the sacrifices that you need to do. But I mean,
I love
okay,
that for you.
I think this transitions well into the next subtopic of how can we decide whether a purchase, like what is the framework we can use to decide whether we can make a big purchase or not? Because I mean, I use this and that's why I feel like I can do the things that I do. But what do you feel are like some frameworks that we can use to decide if a purchase should be made or not?
If I'm gonna make a purchase of any sort, specifically a major purchase, the first thing I'm thinking about, is it a want or is it a need? Because how I purchase wants is different from how I purchase my needs. If it's a want, I'm gonna put together a plan of, okay, I need to save so amount of money every month so that within a span of 6 months or within a span of, I don't know, 2 months, I can go purchase this thing and it's not gonna hurt me or it's not gonna kill me financially. Need, now I'm thinking about it differently, because if it's a need, it's something I have to purchase. It's just a question of whether I'm going to make this purchase now or if I need to make this purchase a little bit in the future. So after I've established whether this is a want or a need, my next thing is, how am I going to pay for this is what I'm thinking about. So am I going to pay cash? Am I going to use my credit card? Am I going to take out a loan for this thing? Those three options have completely different results. So if
Mhm.
we're still talking about needs right now, although we're talking about big purchases, I'm going to talk about needs. If this is a need of mine and I have to make this purchase, if I have the cash, I might pay all cash for it, or I might use my credit card so I can get the points and then pay the cash after. If it's something that I'm taking out a loan for, now I'm thinking, what's the best way I can borrow money for this thing to where it doesn't hurt me? But if it's a want, I don't really want to take out a loan for something that I want, because now I'm going to be paying interest for something that's not really serving me. It's not serving me more than emotionally. If it's a
Yeah.
want, I don't really want to use my credit card,
You don't have to go
especially if
into
I know
debt for that.
exactly, especially if I know I'm not about to pay this off ASAP. Like, okay, maybe if I'm gonna pay it off in a week or two, I might use my credit card. But if I know it's going to take me like 3, 4 months to pay this off, I probably don't want to put this on my card, and I need to go back to what I said initially and figuring out how I'm going to save to make this purchase so it doesn't hurt
Pay
me.
for it. Yeah.
Yeah, and then, like, you gotta think about, like, how long will this item serve me and how long will I genuinely make use and enjoy this item? But those are the first few things that come to mind when I'm thinking about, like, making a decision for a major purchase. What would you add on to that?
No, yeah, those are solid frameworks for sure. I think understanding like if you're going to feel good about making this purchase long term or if it's just like instant gratification. One of the things I use to kind of decide if I should make a big purchase or not is just being honest with myself and identifying whether this is the purpose of this purchase. So is it a value purchase or is it more of a status purchase? I think the misconception listening to this episode would be that, oh, we don't encourage buying nice things or spending money on yourself, but that's really not the case. We just want people to be more conscious of the reason why they're doing things. So understand what that purpose is. So if the purpose is status, like, yeah, you can buy nice things for yourself, but you should just be honest with yourself, knowing that this is why you're doing it, not necessarily lying to yourself and saying, okay, this is an investment. Because with that, you're knowing that you're putting money and buying this nice thing rather than putting that money into something else. So just understanding what the purpose is. Is it a value purchase? Like, are you buying something because it's going to grow over time? Are you buying something, investing in yourself, like education? Like all of these are big purchases, but just understanding what the value is and being honest with yourself. Another key thing that I use is understanding what the opportunity cost is. So opportunity cost is foregoing a certain thing because you made a certain decision. Again, using the car analogy. So let's take, for example, you put 10K on a down payment to get a car. The opportunity cost here is you didn't use that 10K to buy the S&P 500. You didn't use that 10K to put a down payment on a house. And that's really what opportunity cost is. What are you foregoing from making a decision that you made? And this really has helped me in understanding if I should make purchases at that point in time. Because if you can justify making that, putting that amount to a down payment, that gives you the confidence that you should be able to afford that. But if you feel like you can use that money for something else and it provides more value, you shouldn't be making that decision at that point in time. And so I really think that using opportunity cost is another way that people can make smart decisions when it comes to making big purchases.
I love how you mentioned the fact that we're not opposed to people making big purchases. You just need to be aware of the purchase you're making, plan for it accordingly, and
Mhm.
understand the opportunity cost of it. There's an opportunity cost for everything you do in life. There's an opportunity
Yeah.
cost for waking 5 minutes late. There's an opportunity cost for eating fast food over vegetables. And just understanding that will help you maneuver better in your financial journey. Every dollar you spend here is a dollar you could put in the stock market and could potentially make money. So just having that understanding will help you make better decisions on your financial journey. So how would one plan for a big purchase?
I think, yeah, when it comes to big purchase, I think planning is of the utmost importance because that lets you know that you're intentional about making this purchase and it's not really a spur of a moment purchase. 9 times out of 10, a spur of a moment big purchase is not really a good decision. But if you're planning long term to make this decision, you've thought properly and you've reinforced your decision by making sure this is the right thing for you to do at that point in time. So one way to plan accordingly is open a high yield savings for this big purchase. High yield savings because they give you interest on the money that you put in there. And then once you have that, you can put money on a weekly, monthly basis and save up for what exactly it is. So a good example is if you're trying to buy a house, with that, you want to save a good amount for a down payment. You're looking at upwards of like a 10,000, 20,000 down payment. You're not going to have that right away. So the best thing to do for that is open a high yield savings account, put money in there consistently. And once you have the amount that you've set for yourself, now you can make that big purchase rather than, okay, I just feel like buying a house, but you don't have the money available for you to do that. So it does take some type of planning and effort on your end. Another thing would be just personal budgeting. Again, this ties into putting money into this high yield savings account, understanding what part of your salary or your income can go into this investment after doing budgeting on your finances. So let's say after looking at your finances, you realize you can only put 5% or 10% into your high yield savings account. This also gives you an idea of what that time frame could be of when you can afford whatever that big purchase is. I think those are the ways that you can start planning to make that big purchase where it doesn't seem as an impromptu decision on your end. What about you? How do you feel?
Those are two really good ones. The high yield savings, similar to the stock market, like your money is going to be growing. Is it going to be at a high rate? No, but it's going to be better than a regular bank account.
Hmm.
And I mean, for me at least, when I first realized the wonders of high yield savings accounts, it made me want to save more because
Yeah.
I'm actually seeing the money grow as opposed to like the regular banks. You got like $10,000 and they give you 30 cents for the month.
You know, the interest on an actual on a like a Chase account, for example, is point zero
3
zero
or
one.
something like that. Exactly. It's
Yeah.
it's
It's
crazy. It's
it's
crazy.
crazy.
It's crazy. It's crazy. And then you go to a high yield savings account where you can get anything from 3.75 up to 5%.
5%. Yep.
Yeah, depending on the economy and what's going on. So like the high yield savings account is a great one. Like I mean, and I kind of mentioned it earlier, like just planning for how you want to make these purchases. So if I said going back to the house example, we can combine two of them. Like if I wanted to buy a house within the next year, okay, I'm gonna plan that every month I'm gonna put $1,000 into this high yield savings account. Your paycheck 500. Twice a month I'm putting 500 into this account. Every time I put $500 in there, the high yield savings account is getting a little interest, is getting a little bit more. The more money I put in
Mhm.
there, the more interest I'm getting on there. Not only did I plan for this purchase, but I'm also putting the money in a medium that's allowing it to grow. It's not a lot, but it's growing. And by the time I'm ready to buy this home, I'm gonna have my money and a little sum because I planned for it and it's not gonna hurt me. It's not gonna kill me financially. So those are
Yeah.
some really good ones.
Yeah. I think another thing that as of late is important is timing as well. So timing in terms of interest rates, I think that's something that people don't consider when they want to make a big purchase
Hmm.
because this goes into like the main big purchases like houses and like cars. So with interest rate, it basically means how much interest are you paying additionally to the principal, basically how much you have to pay for borrowing this money. And if the interest rate is high, 5%, 6%, that is drastically different from if you had a low interest rate of like 2-3% because you see that you're paying more towards interest rather towards the principal and you end up paying a lot more over time. So timing is also something very important that people should consider when looking to make big purchases. And that's why people say people are always talking about if this is a good time to buy a house, is it a good time to buy cars? It really just comes down to the interest rate. And that's
Yep.
what something people consider.
Yep. Yep. Timing it is a good one. Just it's the same way how people buy their televisions during Black Friday sales, or you buy your candles for
Hmm.
the year during that one Bath and Body Works sale
The
that they
Bath
do.
and
And
Body Works sale. Yeah.
yeah, it's, I mean, it's the same concept, but just on a higher level or with higher amounts.
Hmm.
Just timing your purchases can save you a lot long term.
All right. No, yeah, I like those points that you pointed out for sure. Now I want us to kind of get personal with it, kind of open up to people. This is the point of the podcast. We're trying to share our financial journey with people. My question to you, what are some big purchases that you've made where one, you regretted it and one that you're glad that you made?
I'll start with the one I regret, and then we can go to
Okay.
you, and then I'll do the one I'm glad, and we can do the one you're glad of. So
Okay.
regret, I would say, okay, no, actually, it's not one. I'd say just being outside. My gosh,
Yeah.
man. Bro, when I think about it sometimes, like that first year I moved to Houston, like nowadays, if I go out, and I said this earlier, I wasn't joking. If I spend $100 when I go out now, it hurts me. I'd be like, dang, that's a lot of money. But like when I first moved to Houston, man, that was nothing. Like I spent a couple hundred in a weekend, like it's nothing, just on a chill weekend. So like
No, I mean,
I'd
outside is
say
expensive, man. Outside is
yeah,
expensive.
I'd say it was definitely going outside. And then you know me,
Okay.
I'm the friend that's gonna be like, let's take shots. And now I'm buying everybody shots. I'm definitely that friend. And man, the next Monday I'll be hating to see my bank account. So mine is
Not
definitely
bad.
like going
No.
out.
No, yeah, that's a good one for sure. I wasn't even expecting that, but that's very true. Like being outside, like you don't see it right away, but you just look at your bank statement and you see that it just adds up like a couple $100 every weekend. If you do
Yep,
that like for a month, at least $100, that's $400. And most
yep.
times not even $100. It's like
It's
upwards
more than that.
200, just depending exactly. So now you're
So let's
spending like $1,000 being outside. So
let's even talking about it. So like, all right, think about it, right? You and I want to go out this weekend. We want to have a good time, but we don't want to do nothing crazy too much, right?
do too
So
much.
we're gonna
Yeah.
go get a bottle or something before we go out. Cool. That's like $30 to $50. Let's just say $50.
That's
We got a
$50,
bottle.
$50.
Yep. So now we don't want to drunk drive, so we're gonna take a Uber. So our Uber to where we're going is $20. That means we're gonna pay $20 back. So now you're at $90 for
No,
two of us.
surge when we're
Mm-mm.
coming back.
Oh yeah, the surge when it coming back. Facts. But let's just say 90 to be conservative. Or let's just say
Okay.
50 total for your Uber for the night is 50. So that's $100 right there. Now where we're going, we want to pay to get in. $20 each. If we're lucky, it's $20. So $20 each. Now that's 140. Now we in there and we're
You
in
gotta
there,
get
we're trying to
drinks.
have
You
a
gotta
good
get
time.
shots.
We gotta get drinks. Now we're buying drinks, and the drinks at the club is not the drinks at the liquor store. So we're gonna spend $100 on drinks between the both of us. Now we're at 240. We're at 240, and all we did was go out and drink. Let's now think about, okay, let's say we wanted to get a hookah, or let's say we didn't want to stand that
Or
night,
to
or
get a
we didn't want
section.
we want to get a section. We want to get a table. That's another expense there. End of the night, we're both drunk, don't have no sense. We got to eat. We're going to get something to eat. Now we're going to buy way more food than we actually need. And all of that is $300 easily without even the section. That's easily $300 between the both of us on a night out.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a chill night. Like we didn't do nothing too crazy. All we did was go out, get
Yeah.
drinks. So going
No,
out,
yeah, that's true.
it's costs so much more than you know. And then the next day, now you're not productive because you're hungover and you got to DoorDash food to your house. You got to DoorDash some medicine to your house, and the things you were supposed to do, you don't get them done. So outside is actually a lot more expensive than you think it is.
No, 100%. Like how you broke it down, that is accurate because like it doesn't seem like one big purchase, but you're spending consistently on things that you shouldn't be spending on, just trying to have a good time. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
it is cool to have a good time, but if you're making this like a habit where you're doing this every weekend, that adds up like really quick.
Mm-hmm.
But okay,
What's
okay. That was a good one.
yours?
That was a good one. I like that. I like that. I'll say mine. Honestly, mine was getting a luxury car. So this was right when not when I graduated. I think it was right after I got a promotion, my first promotion like ever. I was like, all right, bet I have some money. I can buy the car that I want. And so I ended up getting an Infiniti Q50 2017. I think around that time is maybe like 35, 40K. So my car payment was about geez, maybe like 500, 600 for maybe 6 years. I think it was 72 months. Imagine 72 months. Then, so this was also my first time getting a car on my name because I used to use my parents' insurance before. So I had to get my own insurance. So insurance on a luxury car also, and also being a first time like driver,
A young,
insurance
yeah,
was
yeah.
high. Insurance was high. So just imagine. So I think around that time I was probably paying about 1,000, close to 1,000 each month for insurance and the car payment. So luckily I won't say luckily, but not luckily, that car ended up getting totaled. And so honestly, I feel like that was a blessing in disguise because the insurance ended up paying the car off. Thankfully, I wasn't injured or anything like that, but insurance ended up paying the car off, and I ended up getting like a smaller car that the car payment wasn't too crazy. But and this was maybe like I said, 2019, 2020. So going back like 5 years, I think about that now. I would just be paying that car off, a 2017 car. I would just be paying that car off, spending $1,000 each month trying to drive this car. And honestly, it wouldn't have been worth it because
Mm.
I could have been going back to opportunity cost. I could have been using that money for something else. I could have been using that money to put it in the stock market. I could have used that as a down payment for a house, saving for other things I could have spent money on, but I was putting that money into a depreciating asset. So I don't want to say like thank God for having an accident, but it honestly saved me from having to pay so much money to a depreciating asset over time. So I'll say that's one of the big purchases that I regret initially when I made it.
Yeah, that's a good one. I mean, that would be mine. That would be mine as well. I mean, I didn't want to go the easy route and say me having a
No,
nice.
no, that's why I said the club one was definitely a good one. Definitely a good one for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah. But
Outside's expensive.
my second one would definitely be having nice cars. I mean, it's probably I would flip it and say it's purchases that I'm kind of glad I made because I did it while I was young and there's a high opportunity cost for it. But it also showed me like I had that fun. It was cool, but it showed me that I didn't really need
Mm.
it. It showed me I
Hey,
didn't
look
really
at what
need
he
it at
did
a young
there.
age. I
Look at what
told
he
you
did there.
I'm bars, man.
He
Hey,
flipped the
man.
negative to a positive. Hey.
No, for real, because like I mean, like so I've had a BMW and I've had a Challenger, and
Mhm.
I'm a car guy. I've always been a car guy since growing up. My dad had a car dealership growing up, so I've been exposed to cars from a young age, like working on them, all that stuff. So having nice car wasn't even like a question for me as soon as I got the opportunity. But once I did it, I realized that like it's an ego thing for me at least. I'm gonna speak for myself. It's an ego thing. Like I loved having a nice car. I love pulling up places and people looking at me. I love the feeling I got in my car. But having a nice car, like at that point in my life, it just wasn't worth it. Like we go back to the opportunity cost of it. In your situation, you said you were paying, let's say $1,000 a month. By not having that car anymore, I don't know what your situation was after that, but let's say you went and got a cash car, you're just paying insurance at that point. So like at
Mhm.
worst, your insurance is $400 a month. So basically you're saving $600 monthly by not having that car, $7,000 in a year just by switching cars. It's a no brainer. When you think
Yep.
about things like that, you think about the long-term effect, you think about how it can affect you financially. Like you said, you would have just paid that car off and that was 5 years ago. So that means that you would have been negative 35
60K.
or you could be plus $35,000, just from a car purchase. So like you think about things like that, long-term effects, opportunity costs, it has you looking at things differently. So I'd say the purchase that I'm glad I made was having nice cars early on. And it showed me that I don't really need that.
You
And
don't
those
really
things
need it.
it doesn't do nothing for me no more. I'm still going to get something nice when I get to that point. But for right now, I'm good.
Yeah. No, that's a good one. That's a good one. I like how you switch that. I'll say a big purchase that I'm glad I made was just going back to nice things. So knowing like when to make purchases or why you're making purchases. So knowing why you're making purchases. And this purchase was for status or just for appearance. And so I got me a pair of Ferragamo shoes. I think these were when I got them maybe like 1100, 1200. But this was the first time I was spending that type of money on shoes because I feel like that was quite expensive. Honestly, going back, like looking back at it, I thank myself for doing it at that point in time. I think when I bought it, this was kind of like as a thank you gift for me. I think it was at the end of the year. And ever since then, I mean, this has just been my go-to shoes whenever I'm like, I have a nice occasion to go to. And when you're going to these type of events, you do want to look nice. You do want to have a particular aura to you. You want people to look at you a particular way. And this is when those kind of big purchases come into play. So ever since I got that, like that has been my go-to, and I just thank myself every day for making that purchase at that point in time. So I'll say that's one I'm glad I made.
Yeah, that's a really good one because especially being a professional, I mean, both of you and I work in corporate settings. Being a professional, like having nice accessories, and I don't mean like the way we wear accessories, like for like streetwear or being fashionable, but like you said in your situation, having nice dress shoes, having a nice belt, putting on a nice watch, nice cologne. These are status symbols in a positive way. It's not you showing off. It shows that you carry yourself in high regard and you
In
have
high
respect
regards,
for
yeah.
yourself and you want other people to see you in high regard. So those type of purchases and investments in yourself are not bad things. They're actually good things.
Yeah, and that's why, like we mentioned, just knowing the purpose of why you're making a purchase is important. Like if you're doing it because you want to carry yourself a certain way, so be it. But just knowing that that's the reason why, and that's what we're trying to get across with this discussion. All right, so moving on to our next segment. This one we call "Is It Making Sense?" So pretty much what we're going to do, we're going to throw out scenarios of real life or made up scenarios, and we're going to decide if it makes sense or if it doesn't make sense. You just got your first job right out of college. You're feeling good about yourself. And so now you're looking to get an apartment, and the apartment that you want to get is like a high rise in downtown Dallas. And the rent is about it's about half of your monthly paycheck. How are you feeling about that?
It's not making sense. It's not
It's not
making
making
sense.
sense.
It's not because it's just half of your monthly money going towards your rent alone. You don't have too much wiggle room for anything. You're not going to be eating the floor in your apartment. You're not going to be eating the couch. You probably can't afford a couch because half your money is
Hey,
gone.
it's
It's,
vibes, it's vibes. It's a high rise.
yeah, and people are going to come over to your house and sit on the floor eating noodles with you. It's not making sense.
No, yeah, definitely. Especially like, and that just goes back to the whole discussion of knowing what your needs and what your wants are. Like, yeah,
Mhm.
you need somewhere to stay, but you don't need to necessarily get that highs at that particular point in time. Like, you can sacrifice by staying in somewhere cheaper, and then once you have the ability to afford a high rise, you can get that at that point in time. But as of right now, if your rent is half your paycheck, that is not making sense, and you shouldn't do that.
You got to work on that. Like, ideally, I would like to say you should move somewhere cheaper or you
Hmm.
got to make more money. I mean, but you should probably move somewhere cheaper because making more money doesn't justify an overpriced thing. All right, I got one for you. So, my birthday's coming up. We're going to the club. We're about to go crazy. My paycheck hasn't hit, but I'm trying to have a good time. I want to pop some bottles. I'm going to just put it on my credit card and when my paycheck hits, I'll start paying it off. It'll probably take me like a month or two to pay it off. People might give me some money, but I'm worried about having a good time. Like I'm trying to go out and go crazy.
Brother, that doesn't make sense. I'm a big
Really?
advocate. Nah, I'm a big advocate that unless it comes to like buying like a car, like paying for a car, like a house, if you don't have the money, like the cash and savings or your checkings, don't use your credit card for it because obviously you're not going to be able to pay that money right away. So now you're going to incur interest from from using your credit card. And so from using your credit card and adding and getting interest, now you're even paying more than you should have been paying if you had just used cash to pay for this. And so using your credit card to flex, it's a no-go. Unless you're going to pay it off right away, don't do it. It doesn't make sense. All right, okay. Next one that I have for you. This girl, she's been eyeing a designer bag, but she just had to use her emergency fund to pay something off. Instead of it replenishing that emergency fund, she goes ahead and buys this designer bag that she's always wanted. Is that making sense?
What type of bag is it?
It's one of those, like the Louis Vuitton handbag, not the purse, because the purse, that's not crazy, but the handbag, go check the prices on those.
So it's crazy. And you're
It's,
asking me if it makes sense. So you already acknowledge that it's crazy. You're asking if it makes sense.
but I
Okay.
mean, like she's always
Nah, it's
wanted
not
this
making
bag.
sense.
She's always wanted this
Not
bag.
making
Like
sense.
this is her want.
She needs to go replenish her savings, if not all, at least a little bit. And like we
Mhm.
mentioned earlier, she can plan towards making that purchase. There's nothing wrong with getting the things you want, but don't let it ruin you. Don't do it in such a, because now if she goes buy that bag and she don't have no emergency savings, she might be in a situation. A hurricane hit us last year in Texas and I had to go find somewhere to stay for a few days, and that's emergency money. If you don't have that emergency money, like what are you gonna do in that type of situation? So
Yeah,
she gotta get that together.
true. Doesn't make sense. Don't spend money if you should be saving it up or
It
trying to
goes back
replenish your.
it goes back to what we were saying earlier about opportunity cost, which is
Mm.
at this point, opportunity cost is our word of the day. Like she's gonna have that purse, and then if an emergency happens, she's gonna be holding her purse while she's hungry, or she's gonna be holding her purse while she gotta walk home because she can't catch a Uber.
She gonna sleep in the purse.
She can sleep in the purse, use the purse as a pillow, take a shower with the purse, all that. It's
Mm.
not worth it. It doesn't make sense, and we gotta do better and plan accordingly.
Yeah, very true, very true. I agree with you. Don't do it.
Nice. So what do we got going on this week in the market and in the economy as a whole? Anything going on? Anything changing?
I think the main thing that everyone is talking about is the government shutdown. So, I mean, some
Hmm.
news did come up that hopefully there would be some agreement that's made this week. We don't
Hmm.
know how true that's going to be, but that's really the main thing. But from that, we did see some effect in the market where some of the stocks did rebound off of those.
Rebound. Yeah. Yeah, hopefully by the time we drop this episode, the government shutdown is over, which I am assuming by tomorrow or the day after, it should be officially
Mhm.
over. But said we've been hearing some rumblings of it potentially ending soon. So hopefully that's over. People can travel as they want for the holidays, and we go back to living in this
And
crazy
this
country.
in this matrix. But yeah, very true, very
That
true. I
that,
mean,
that
how would you feel if you were working for 30 days and not getting paid?
I wouldn't. I wouldn't. If I was in a situation like that, man, you have to rehire me after 30 days because I'm gonna go figure it out. Like, especially with them saying like, "Oh, we're not gonna back pay these people." Me personally, I couldn't do it. I couldn't do
No,
it.
yeah,
Like
it's
if
quite
if there was a
insane.
if there was a guarantee I was gonna get paid, okay, I might be able to hold on to it, especially if it's a good job. But if you're telling me, whether it's true or not, if you're telling me I'm not getting paid, I'm not coming to work.
No, having to work a whole month and not get paid is quite insane. Like,
It's crazy.
what is the incentive to show up? I'm getting back
Yep.
paid. I don't know, and where I'm getting back paid, but we don't know when the shutdown's gonna end. Like,
Gonna end
power to
exactly.
those people. Power to those people for sure.
Shout out to them for sure. Shout out to them for sure. And you heard about that stimmy coming out. Speaking of purchases, last time I got a stimmy, man, I went and got a Ferragamo belt. I invested in myself. I got myself a nice accessory.
Exactly. That's one way to see it. I
I
mean, you
still
made
got
a
that
good
belt too
investment.
now.
Yeah, you still have the belt. You wear it when you want to go out. That's a good
Hmm.
investment. That's a good
Yep.
investment. But I mean, I saw something about that. I haven't really read too much about it. But I
Hmm.
see that, I guess, what are the requirements, or who are the people that's going to be getting the stimulus if it does happen?
Yeah, I think this is a little different than the last one. To my knowledge, I believe it is for low income, people of low income. But that automatically disqualifies you. Um,
Me, I'm low income. I'm low income. Please.
disqualifies you. They might give it to me. I'm close to I'm like right there. I might get
All
it.
right. Okay. Now he's potting again. He's potting again. Whenever he talks like that, he's potting.
I think I saw Trump talking about it, or I read it, and they mentioned that it's supposed to be a dividend from tariffs. So they're
From all the
estimating tariffs.
tariffs? Interesting.
Is going to make 250 billion this year. So the $2,000 to Americans that are in need or considered low income is a dividend payment, is what they're saying. But we don't know how valid it is. We just gotta watch out for it and see how it plays out. But I wouldn't mind an extra 2K. Like if I get that $2,000, SPY 700 or SPY 750, depending on when we
I
get
mean,
it.
yeah, that would definitely go back into the market. I feel like
Without a thought.
if you get free
Without a
money
thought.
right now, you definitely use that to invest some way, because the market as a whole is there. We did have some type of pullback. So if the market is rebounding off of this news, this is a great time to get into it. Especially like you said, with SPY, this is pretty much the betting on the US economy. So if it's going to go up off of this news, might as well put the money back in there.
Imagine you get 2K that you weren't even anticipating. You put it into the market, nice little long play, and then after a year, the 2K is more than $4,000. That's a win. That's a major
No,
win.
yeah, definitely, definitely. My only fear is that, I mean, if the government is able to combat what the long term effect of this would be. So I feel like we saw that with COVID, where because there was so much money in circulation, inflation rate increased to such a high point. We did have a high
Yeah.
inflation rate. And so if the government can so maybe that's why they're giving this to low income individuals. Maybe that's another reason, trying to combat that inflation effect that
That's
we
messed
felt
up.
after 2020, like 2022, like when inflation was hitting hard, like you can tell like everything was down, like stuff was the inflation that we felt with so much money in the economy was a real one. So I guess just trying to combat that from having happening again in the future. But who knows? Who
Mm,
knows? I'm gonna read more on that, trying to
who
understand
knows?
it better.
Yeah, same, same.
But I mean, so like for this episode, I think we're not discouraging spending money. Like I'm all for having a good time, going on trips, spending money on yourself, looking good. But we just want people to have more of a conscious idea of why they're doing the things they're doing, understanding if this is the best decision that they should be doing, looking at the opportunity cost, and just coming to a reasonable decision when it comes to making these big purchases, because these big purchases set you up for the long term. And one thing that we believe in is that sacrificing now so you can live the way you want to live in the future. But any
Yep.
closing words for people?
Well said, well said. Thank you guys for catching us today on episode 3. We are officially podcasters, so expect more from us. And give us some suggestions, give us some feedback in the comments below. Let us know what your major purchases have been, or maybe it was a
Yeah.
major purchase you didn't make because you're financially planning for the long term. Comment below what your major purchases are. We would love to hear them. And we can compare and contrast and see who is the bigger dummy.
But all right, with that concludes this episode of Common Sense, where we're all trying to make sense of our sense. Thank you.
Thanks.
Peace.